Hello, everyone, and welcome to McUnhinged. We're back.
Hell
It's
yeah.
me, Tyler Rims, and Shibuya,
Hey, what's up? It's
and
me.
and Shawn. Hey guys, it's me, Shawn. That's how he sounds. Shawn's not here; he's house sitting or something. But he'll interject with some stuff. I think I don't know how he's doing it. But today, we're covering Thor Ragnarok.
Hell yeah.
Some would argue the first good Thor movie, maybe the only good Thor movie. But I mean, it's okay. I like this movie a lot. What about
It's
you?
fun.
What are your thoughts, Shibuya?
My thoughts are I forgot how obsessed with this movie I was in 2017, and as I was watching it, all that shit hit me like a brick to the face, and I went, damn, feels good. Feels good to be back.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
It is. Taika Waititi fucking killed it.
This is something. This is another one of those movies where I never saw it in theaters. I only watched it in like the lead up to in game. And I was like, wow, this is very different from the Thor I know.
Yeah.
But I absolutely prefer this over what we were getting from Thor.
Yeah, Shakespearean, I think, as far as Thor's characterization, I think the key is finding a delicate balance between uh overtly classical like theater drama
Mm-hmm.
and, Marvel. And I think this
Yeah,
movie strikes a decently good balance that they don't quite manage to hit again.
no, not at all. Love and Thunder does go a little bit overboard.
Yeah. You gotta fucking balance it. If there's too much of one or the other, Thor just becomes unlikable, and that is not what you want.
Yeah,
Hey, I was really upset that I wasn't able to be there to record the actual episode, but I did get to watch the movie, so I am going to give you guys some brief thoughts, and then I'm going to pop back in at the end here to update everybody on my ranking as well. Um, Overall thoughts on Thor Ragnarok. Man, I love this movie. I just it's so good. I think this is the best version of Thor throughout the entire MCU. I think he kind of peaks here. I think that for a lot of these characters, it's the best versions of them. I don't like Valkyrie, Korg, Thor. This is my favorite version of Loki. I don't think it's the best version because I do think that Tom Hiddleston kills it in the TV show, but it is my favorite version of Loki. I really love everything about this movie. I do think that on a rewatch, the movie shows a little bit more of the kind of plot pacing problems that that Love and Thunder has, and this movie really has it at the beginning. All the stuff with Thor, wrapping up the plot threads from the end of Age of Ultron, getting to the part like pretty much getting to Sakaar. It's moving really quick, and we're kind of getting a lot out there. It feels a little disjointed, in a similar way to how Love and Thunder feels disjointed to me. Uh, Back on the character front really quick, love Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster. I really love the score for this movie. I think like the synth in there is great. Stan Lee cameo, perfect, one of my favorites. Hulk, like I said about the other characters, my favorite version of the Hulk across the whole MCU is in this movie. I like Smart Hulk. I like Professor Banner. I know some people don't, but and I still do like that version of Hulk. But this is my favorite version of Hulk. This is the one that I love the most. Um, and just like two notes that I thought of while watching the movie, and these were the biggest thoughts I had was I think the second act of this movie is my favorite part of the movie, which is rare for Marvel. I think Marvel normally has really strong beginnings and pretty strong endings, and in the middle sometimes you're like, oh, what's going on here? But in this movie, the second act might be my favorite part. Pretty much everything on Sakaar is incredible. I think, Taika really shines there. It doesn't feel like Taika playing in pre-established sandboxes like the beginning and the ends of the movie do when you're set on Earth or Asgard or what have you. The second act, just with the Grandmaster and all that, just feels so good. It is my favorite part of the movie. And the other big thing that I was thinking of while I was watching the movie uh, at the beginning is the Doctor Strange appearance in this movie is awesome. I think that this is the pinnacle of this whole interconnected universe in terms of characters appearing in other characters' movies. I think this is the peak of it. Like the idea that look, these heroes just happen to be in New York, and of course you're going to run into each other when everybody is operating in the same city, right? It perfectly captures that comic vibe that all these people hang out at the same playground, and sometimes they're going to run into each other, but that doesn't mean that it's a big team up. They have their moment together. You know, Doctor Strange helps Thor. Doctor Strange gets, hey, you're going to get out of here, right? You're not going to mess with my turf if I help you out. Thor says, yeah. They go on their separate ways. Like, I love that. I think that, and this is going to upset Tyler, but I think the only other MCU property that has handled that as well as this movie is She-Hulk. Even though I really have my problems with that TV show, the one thing that I didn't have a problem with was the way that it integrated other MCU characters into the story in a way that felt natural and allowed them to leave the story once once the logical reason they should be there has passed. And I think that that's something that this movie with Doctor Strange does perfectly.
But this movie came out in 2017 at a runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes, directed by Taika Waititi. Now, Shibuya,
Yeah.
you're a huge Taika Waititi fan. I know this for sure.
Yeah, you do.
You know, this isn't his first foray into superheroes.
Ooh.
You might not remember, because a lot of the times I don't. But Taika Waititi was in a little-known film called Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my fucking god, was he?
He was, he was Hal Jordan's brown friend, the little tech guy.
Was he the dude in the room where he puts on the suit and then he just
Yep,
starts like
yep,
freaking?
that's him.
Oh my fucking god!
That's
That's
Taika.
amazing! Holy shit!
You know, we gotta appreciate Green Lantern for the only reason that it joined Ryan Reynolds with his wife. That's about it. That's about all it did.
Yeah, I respect it for that. And sometimes when I need to just watch like the most solid 5 out of 10 I've ever seen in my life, if it's on, I'll throw it on. I don't own it. I will not purchase it. But if I happen to see it somewhere and it's playing, I wouldn't change channel. I would just leave it.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta watch it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I did that in theaters. Don't worry about that.
I did not. There was no way I was going to see that movie in theaters.
That's fair.
This movie is written by Eric Pearson, Craig Kyle, and Chris Yost, with a budget of $180 million, with a box office of $855,301,806 worldwide, with a 36.8% domestic and 63.2% international split. Has a 93% for critics on Rotten Tomatoes, with an 87% audience score.
Wow,
A
critics
7
really rated it higher.
Yeah, they really loved it.
Shit.
Has a 7.9 on IMDb. And as usual with Google, an 84%. So, I mean, did pretty well for a movie, for the third of a movie.
Yeah, especially for being a Thor movie where those movies had a reputation. And I remember, even with the trailers leading up, people were really paying attention this time because, oh, this feels different to the rest of Thor in the fucking MCU. So I know I was kind of like cautiously optimistic. And then I saw it and I was like, shit, yeah, that's it. That's the one.
So, we open up in Muspelheim. Thor's in a cage and is monologuing his thoughts. He's a lot funnier now, for some reason. He talks a lot about how he fought some robots on Earth, saved the planet a couple times, and went searching through the cosmos for the Infinity Stones. The cage opens and Thor drops until he's hanging right above the floor. Here we meet Surtur, voiced by the one and only Clancy Brown. If you don't know who Clancy Brown is, he is
Mr.
Hank
Krabs.
in Detroit Become Human. He's Mr. Krabs. He's also in John Wick Chapter 4 this year.
I keep forgetting he's in John Wick Chapter 4. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it took me a while. It took me about half the movie to realize that was him. but he's there, and I mean he's everywhere. He's all over the place. He's a good voice actor.
Yeah, mad respect.
He says Thor, son of Odin, Surtur, son of a bitch. Thor thought Odin killed Surtur 500,000 years ago, but Surtur can't die until he fulfills his destiny of destroying Asgard. Turns out, Thor's been having dreams about Ragnarok. While Surtur talks about his great prophecy, he's interrupted by Thor needing to swivel back around to face him. Once Surtur's crown is reunited with the eternal flame, he'll be restored to his full power and be able to destroy Asgard. Surtur tells Thor that Odin is not on Asgard and the throne is defenseless. He tells Thor that Ragnarok has already started and there's nothing Thor can do to stop it. Thor calls Mjolnir to him and sets himself free to the tune of Immigrant Song, which is just the perfect song for Thor, actually. It talks about hammers and the god of lightning and stuff like that.
And Valhalla, which, you know, yeah.
He wipes the floor with a bunch of demons and defeats Surtur, taking his crown with him. He calls for Heimdall but doesn't get a response because he's been replaced by Scourge, played by Carl Urban, Billy Butcher, Eomer in Lord of the Rings. And also he might be Johnny Cage in a Mortal Kombat movie.
Really?
That's what the casting's saying.
That's... I mean,
you would
that's
think he'd be Kano, but
I feel like Kano's way better of a fit. Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. His American accent is pretty good. Maybe I'm just too used to seeing him with a beard.
Yeah, I'm too used to him as Bones from the Star Trek reboot movies, and and Billy Butcher. So I can see him being like the easily pissed off type more than I can see him being, fucking Johnny Cage.
Scourge is currently risen up 2 women. He shows them some stuff he's got from the 9 realms, including a moped, some machine guns he got from Texas named Destin Troy, and a shake weight. Thor keeps trying to get a Bifrost to take him up, but he gets attacked by a dragon, but puts the hammer in its mouth to trap it. Eventually he's brought to the Bifrost, along with the dragon's head, and the viscera covers everyone in the room. Scourge thanks Thor for ruining his good time and tells Thor that Heimdall is a fugitive of the throne after being asked about why he isn't operating the Bifrost. Thor flies off to find Odin and comes to find a giant golden statue of Loki and finds Odin watching and enjoying a reenactment of the events of Thor Dark World with Matt Damon as Loki.
Yeah.
And Luke Hemsworth as Thor. And when Play Loki dies, the choir sings the same song that's played during Frigga's funeral.
Fuck.
Thor greets his father, Odin, and Odin announces his presence. Thor tells him that of the dreams and how he wants to go investigate, only to find the 9 realms in chaos, while Odin sits in the bathroom and eats grapes. He knows something's up. Odin's really going to make him do it. He throws the hammer as far as he can and says that nothing can stop Mjolnir as it returns to his hand. Odin gives in and reveals himself to be Loki. That's right, he didn't die in Dark World. That'd be more of a surprise if Dark World didn't already say it.
Yeah, if that Dark World post-credit scene didn't exist, this would have been a hell of a moment.
Loki said that everything was fine. Thor had the independence he wanted and Asgard was prospering, but Thor insists of knowing where Odin is. Luckily for them, Loki knows exactly where he is. They travel to Earth to the Shady Acres care home where it's being demolished. Thor said he cried and mourned for Loki before 2 girls show up and take a selfie with Thor and apologizing for Jane dumping him, which it was a mutual dumping. And also the girl who says that is Chris Hemsworth's cousin. A portal opens up underneath Loki's feet and he's taken away, leaving nothing but a card for 177A Bleecker Street, the home of Doctor Strange. Thor goes knocking the door, but by knocking, he's already inside. Strange levitates over, wearing the ugliest pair of yellow gloves I've ever seen.
Yeah, like I get it's supposed to be an homage to his comic look. At the same time, you couldn't have done slimmer gloves. Like those might as well just be the fucking yellow kitchen gloves your mom uses to wash the dishes at that point.
We get the post-credit scene from Doctor Strange. the only one that came back, where he tells Thor about his watch list of beings from the galaxy in other dimensions who might be a threat to Earth, and Loki is absolutely on that list. He asks why Thor brought him to New York. Strange decides to help Thor and Loki so they get the fuck off of Earth. Strange didn't contact him sooner because Odin was adamant about being left in exile. Also, Thor doesn't have a phone or a computer. Except Love and Thunder kind of changes that. They change that fact.
I mean, but by the time of Infinity War and Endgame, I would hope he has a phone on him so people can be like, Earth's going to shit, man, please. Please get over here.
Because in Love and Thunder, during their like relationship flashbacks and stuff, he has a phone because he has Nick Fury listed as Nick Fury.
Of course.
Strange teleports Thor all over the sanctum and gets a strand of his hair and conjures them up a portal to Norway. Also, he brings Loki back from the Infinite Fall. And I've been falling for 30 minutes. You know the meme. You've seen it.
Yeah.
In Norway, Tonsberg to be exact, this is the third time we've been to Tonsberg, they find Odin staring off a cliff waiting for them. He says he's been waiting for them. Why did I type that? He tells them that he failed them and that Ragnarok is upon them. Odin says his time has come, and when he dies, the goddess of death, Hela, will come, Odin's firstborn. His life was the only thing holding her back. She grew too violent, so Odin imprisoned her because he couldn't stop her. She draws her strength from Asgard, making them limitless if she gets there. He tells them to look out over the horizon and to remember this place, home, as he fades away into the golden sparkles. I love you, my sons. Thunder rumbles as Thor gets upset. He blames Loki for this, but a portal opens up and out comes Hela, played by Cate Blanchett.
She's great in this movie. She does such a good job as Hela.
Yeah, she's really good. She's disappointed that she didn't get to see Odin pass. She tells them to kneel, which is exactly what Loki did in Germany.
Yep.
And I would have done so instantly, obviously.
Of course.
Before spawning a blade, they refuse, and Thor tosses the hammer, but she catches it and crushes it. Loki has Volstagg bring them back, but Thor doesn't want to, given that Hela draws her power from Asgard. But they go up, and she chases them through the Bifrost and knocks both of their brothers out of it, sending them to places unknown. Hela comes to the Bifrost portal to find Volstagg, Fandral, and Scourge, and she instantly kills Volstagg and Fandral, and notices Scourge's survival instincts. Now he works for her. She's home. Rest in peace, two of the Warriors 3. On a planet filled with junk, Thor arrives and almost gets crushed by some junk as a red, ominous hole in the sky looms behind him. A ship approaches him, and out comes a bunch of weird people who ask him if he's a fighter. He tries to avoid conflict, but ends up fighting anyways without his hammer. He eventually gets caught in a net, and they beat on him until another ship shows up with a cool drunk lady on it, played by Tessa Thompson. She finishes her drink and claims Thor for her own before falling off of her ramp. She claps her fists together and decimates the guys with her ship's guns. It's pretty rad.
It's so good.
She puts a chip on his neck and knocks Thor out. She goes by Scrapper 142. She's requesting an audience with the boss. He tries to play the royalty card, but she just gives his apologies and knocks him back out. Entering the tall building adorned with statues, including statues of Beta Ray Bill and Ted, aka Man-Thing. Back on Asgard, Hela is being confronted by the Asgardian army. She announces herself as the firstborn of Odin, rightful heir to the throne and goddess of death. Hogun's here, and he stands against her. He says that Asgard was once the seat of power in all of the cosmos, but Odin stopped at 9 realms. She wants to rule over everyone. Hogun tells her to surrender or they will show no mercy. She fights them off single-handedly, and it's a shame to have all these good soldiers dying for nothing, she says. Hogun's still alive, but she skewers him whenever he tries to fight. Scourge looks doubtful of what he signed up for, but with that, the Warriors 3 are all dead 34 minutes into this movie.
Yeah, it's insane how quickly they just go through them, which does a good job at establishing Hela as a threat, but also, like, for anyone who actually cared about these guys, fucking rip.
Just glad that Sif was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I'm glad her ass was on vacation or off-world or doing whatever the fuck else. I guess she was probably in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., actually. Fucking...
He was doing something. No one knows. We see a mysterious hooded figure climbing the cliff to the Bifrost Tower, and then grab Heimdall's sword and leaves. Thor wakes up strapped to a chair with the female voice over the intercom. Fear not, for you are found. You are home, and there's no going back. She calls this place Sakaar, a planet surrounded by cosmic gateways. Sakaar is a collection point for all lost and unloved things, but no one loves these things more than the Grand Master, who was the first to arrive here, and he created the contest of champions. Thor is now property of the Grand Master. So Thor is now sitting face to face with the Grand Master after this crazy trippy sequence. Played by Jeff Goldblum.
Yep.
Brother of the Collector. Also first seen in the Guardians 2 credits.
Yeah, he was. I honestly forgot about that.
He talks about how he always called Scrapper 142 the best, although his assistant Topaz seems to want to call her all sorts of things that don't start with the B. Scrapper 142 is also one that brought him the champion. But the Grandmaster wants to have a closer look at Thor. He breaks out of the chair and, gets tased again. The Grandmaster who asks who Thor is, but when he proclaims he's the god of thunder, little sparkles come out of his hands. Topaz comes back with the GM's cousin, and they pardon him from life. He zaps Carlo with a stick that melts him. Grandmaster properly introduces himself to Thor as he DJs some techno music. He says he presides over the contest of champions, and Thor just might be a part of the new cast. Thor looks over and sees Loki chatting it up at his party. He gets Loki to come over, but Loki didn't get a chair. He made friends with the Grandmaster, but can't get Thor out. Loki's also been here for weeks. Time works differently in these parts. Or any other world, I'd be like 1,000,000 years old, but on Sakaar. Thor tells Loki to tell the Grandmaster about him. I never met this man before in my life. He's my brother. Adopted. I see what they did there. Back to Avengers.
Yep. It's complicated,
Grandmaster
if we went through it, we need to watch like 6 other movies.
Yeah. Grandmaster tells Thor that if he wants to go home, then he can win his freedom by beating the champion. Thor agrees, and they toss him in a waiting room where we meet Korg, the Cronin, which is a race of people we saw in The Dark World and also Guardians 2, voiced by Taika Waititi himself. Over here, pile of rocks waving at you. Here, yeah, I'm actually a thing. I'm a being. And we also meet Meek. Korg is here because he tried to start a revolution, but didn't print enough pamphlets. Only people who showed up were his mom and her boyfriend, who he hates. And now he has to be a gladiator. But he's starting another revolution. Thor finds out that this corridor is like a weird looping room. And Thor asks if anyone's ever fought the champion. Doug has, but Doug's actually dead.
Yeah, Doug's just sort of dead there, corpsing.
Thor says that he's gonna win, and Korg's just like, okay, see you later, new Doug. In the Asgardian throne room, Hela wonders why no one remembers her until she looks up at the mural on the ceiling to see it's full of lies, and there's no mention of her. She breaks it to show the truth underneath. Odin and Hela at the center of bloodshed and battle. She says that back in the day, Asgard's warriors were worshipped as heroes and buried beneath the palace. She and Scourge go down to the treasure room, and she says that most of the stuff in there is fake. She pushes over the fake Infinity Gauntlet that we saw in Thor 1.
Yep.
She calls the coffin of ancient winners from Thor 1 weak. Surge's crown's there, and smaller than she thought. Also the Tesseract. But she really wants the eternal flame. She grabs it and hammers her way below the room, and she uses the flame to revive all the dead warriors and her dog Fenris. More of a wolf. Back with Thor, he prays that his father made it to Valhalla. Loki appears behind him. He uses this opportunity for a now you know how it feels moment and says that he can't compromise his position with the Grand Master. Thor wants to go back to Asgard to take on Hela, and Thor has nothing to say to Loki after everything that's happened so far. Loki warns him that this champion is savage and he placed a bet against Thor. In preparation for the fight, Thor wishes he had his hammer. If he spun it really fast, the hammer would pull him off the ground. Sounds like you had a pretty special and intimate relationship with this hammer, and that losing it was almost comparable to losing a loved one, says Korg. Thor sees Scrapper 142, and Korg clues Thor in that she's Asgardian. He goes to tell her that Asgard's in danger when he spots her tattoo, the mark of the Valkyrie. Thor actually wanted to be a Valkyrie when he was a kid, until he found out they were all women. There's nothing wrong with women, of course. I love women, sometimes a little too much. Not in a creepy way, just more of a respectful appreciation. I think it's great that there's an elite force of women warriors. It's about time. He really tries to make sure he doesn't get canceled there.
He's really trying to oversell it to the point where he is now just like making it worse for himself.
She tries to leave, but he assumes she must be a traitor or a coward because Valkyrie are sworn to protect the throne. Newsflash, this is an Asgard and no one escapes the car. They strap Thor to a chair so that his barber, Stan Lee, can cut his hair. Rest in peace, Goldilocks.
Yeah.
At the arena, everyone gets ready for the main event. Thor comes out as the Lord of Thunder and everyone boos. His opponent is the champion of the arena, the Incredible Hulk. Thor cheers while Loki has PTSD flashbacks to Avengers. Hulk is pointing to the crowd, while Thor tells the Grandmaster that he and Hulk are friends from work. A line that was suggested by a fan who was visiting the set that day.
Oh shit. Yeah, because I
Hulk-
remember that being in the trailers too.
Hulk looks at Thor and then looks at all the people cheering him on. And Thor keeps calling him Banner. That's something we know he doesn't like.
Yeah.
No Banner, only Hulk. Hulk charges in and they scrap it out. Thor eventually knocks him down with his own hammer, and this leaves the Grandmaster confused. Thor tries to use the lullaby from Age of Ultron, but gets grabbed and thrown around just like Loki did in Avengers. And Loki's really excited about that. Thor starts to beat on Hulk pretty good until the tables get turned, and Hulk pummels Thor. Thor sees visions of his father and surges with lightning, knocking Hulk off of him, and they clash in a final punch, but Thor gets tased before he can win the fight. Back with Hela, she questions a noise, which turns out to be the Asgardian people, which turns out that the Asgardian people aren't falling in line. They formed a resistance. Scourge tells Hela that he just wants to prove himself, and she appoints Scourge as her executioner. They head to the Bifrost only to find that the sword is not there. She has Scourge go round up the unruly people. Cut to the resistance running away from Hela's minions when they're saved by Heimdall, once again played by Idris Elba. He hacks them away with his sword and shows them the way to the safe house. Inside are the people of Asgard. Thor wakes up being bathed by women in an unknown room when it's actually the room of the Hulk, who's inside the hot tub. Thor asks him how long he's been the Hulk, and Hulk always Hulk. Hulk says he got here by Quinjet, and he steps out of the hot tub, and we get to see some of those Hulk cheeks. Some of those Hulk ass cheeks. But he points to where the Quinjet is. Hulk wants to stay. He doesn't care about Ragnarok or Earth. Earth hates Hulk. Thor tries to convince them that they love him and they're friends, but Hulk points out that Thor's Banner's friend. Thor tries to leave, but gets shocked by a barrier. Thor closes his eyes and calls out for Heimdall to help him see. Heimdall uses his powers to show Thor what's happening on Asgard. Their only way out is to the Bifrost. If it comes to it, they'll have to evacuate Asgard. Heimdall tells him that he's on the planet surrounded by doorways. He just has to go through the big one. Back with Thor and Hulk, Hulk keeps calling Thor sad. They get into an argument until Thor says that Earth does hate Hulk. Thor apologizes and they have a little heart to heart. We're the same, just a couple of hot-headed fools. Yeah, same. Hulk like fire. Thor like water. I think we're both kind of like fire. Hulk like real fire. Hulk like raging fire. Thor asks Hulk for a favor. The next morning, they hatch a plan to talk to Valkyrie. She doesn't want to listen until she tells Thor until he tells her that Odin's dead. Thor wants to go stop Hela, but is putting together a team. that no one wants to join. Valkyrie says that she already faced Hela once and only survived for reasons. It cost her everything. He sleight of hands her remote away to remove his shocky thing and escapes through the window towards the Quinjet. He gets to the Quinjet and tries to access it but needs voice recognition. He finally gets it when he says Point Break, which is what Tony called in Avengers 1. He gets it working, but a Hulk tears through the Quinjet trying to get Thor to stay. Thor presses a lot of buttons until the recording of Nat from Age of Ultron plays and causes Hulk to revert back to Bruce. Bruce is disoriented as he hasn't been Bruce for 2 years. He even asks about Sokovia. Bruce logs into the Quinjet to see footage of Hulk crash landing, and then they see an announcement from the Grandmaster saying that the champion has gone missing, and Banner starts to kind of freak out. He's having a panic attack, most likely.
Yeah.
The Grandmaster has a meeting with the Valkyrie and Loki because he's upset. He gives them 1 hour to find Thor and Banner, and then Loki and Valkyrie have a knife fight instead, and eventually accesses her memories using his magic, and it shows us a flood of Valkyrie facing off against Hela, and all dying except for her. Thanks to her friend, in quotation marks.
Yeah.
She punches him in the face. Back to Banner and Thor, Bruce is freaking out because he's on an alien planet. He says that it always felt like he and Hulk both had a hand on the wheel, but this time it felt like Hulk had the keys to the car and Banner was locked in the trunk. He says that if he turns into Hulk again, he may never come back. Thor says that they have to fight his sister. I don't want to fight your sister, that's a family issue. Now Thor has to convince Banner that he prefers Bruce until it comes to fighting evil beings. Yeah, Banner is powerful and useful too. Is he though? Bruce almost turns back into Hulk after being called weird, and they make their way through the streets of Sakaar. Thor loses Banner in the crowd, who then bumps into an alien guy, but is saved by Valkyrie. Banner's a little smitten by Valkyrie. What are those things on her eyes? Are those people that she's killed? She's so beautiful and strong and courageous. But they feel like they know each other. Valkyrie says that if she's gonna die, she might as well do it killing Hela. She wants on the team, now called the Revengers. Valkyrie has has Loki tied up, but he and Bruce reunite. Hello, Bruce. Last time I saw you, you were trying to kill everybody. Where are you these days? It varies from moment to moment. They decide to go through the Devil's Anus, but they're going to need a better ship. Loki has stolen the codes to all the Grandmaster ships, and in exchange, he wants safe passage to the Anus. Bruce wants to take a second to talk about Loki's killing tendencies, and Thor talks about how when they were kids, Loki turned himself into a snake, and then when Thor went to pick it up, because he loves snakes, he untransformed and stabbed him. They're going to need a distraction to get a ship, so they're going to start a revolution. The mainframe for the Obediences have been deactivated, and the slaves have been have armed themselves, but Grandmaster doesn't like that word. Not mainframe.
Yeah, what is it that what's the fucking phrase he uses instead of slaves?
The prisoners with jobs.
Prisoners with jobs, that's it. Fucking...
Thor suggests he and Loki should have a talk, and they talk about how their family doesn't really talk as they blast the Grandmaster's guards. Loki thinks it's poetic that Odin brought them together and his death will set them apart. He says he's better off staying on Sakaar, and Thor agrees because he thinks Loki could do great on this savage, chaotic, and lawless planet. Do you truly think so little of me? Loki, I thought the world of you. I thought we were going to fight side by side forever. But at the end of the day, you're you and I'm me. Maybe there's still good in you, but let's be honest, our paths diverged a long time ago. It's probably for the best that we never see each other again. Well, that's what you wanted. That's what you always wanted. And then, hey, let's do get help. Loki doesn't want to do get help, but they have no better plan.
They do get help. It's very funny.
It works perfectly. And they do how did I write this sentence? They do all this to get the Commodore ship. Loki tries to betray Thor, but Thor, knowing his brother, has already set up the counter when he tells Loki that he's becoming predictable and that life is about growth and change. What I'm trying to say is, you'll always be the god of mischief, but you could be more. Thor steals the ship, and Grandmaster tells everyone to go after him. Valkyrie rolls up and gets Bruce into the ship right before Topaz starts to chase them. Thor tries to find the guns on the ship, but it's a leisure vessel, so there aren't any. It's a ship used by the Grandmaster for orgies and stuff, although it was kind of small.
I mean, yeah, but the more concerning thing is that Bruce got launched into this fucking ship. His ass was all over that floor that probably has not been cleaned.
Yeah.
And so Thor going, don't touch anything. Kind of a moot point by now, big guy.
Valkyrie's ship gets destroyed, but that's okay because she starts jumping ship to destroy them. Thor goes out to help and leaves Bruce in charge of the flying. While Thor is helping, Bruce tries to fire guns on the ship and hits the birthday fireworks button, which obscures Topaz's vision, and she crashes and presumably dies.
Yeah.
Thor and Valk get back on the ship as they approach the Devil's Anus. Korg and the Revolution approach a big ship, but he finds a device on the ground which takes Loki out of the shock state, and he joins them. Back with Thor, they make it through the Devil's Anus. And on Asgard, Scourge has rounded up the civilians to ask about who stole the Bifrost sword. No one responds, so Hela picks a woman out of the crowd for Scourge to execute. He hesitates and then raises the axe before someone speaks up. Going through the Devil's Anus, Thor and the crew are knocked out, but they find they're right at Asgard, actually. They can see where the citizens are closer, so Thor wants to go distract Hela while they get everyone else to safety. Hela approaches the hideout, and Thor equips the ship with a gun and is off to the throne room. And Hela opens the door to the citizens that are already gone and heading for the Bifrost, while Thor makes some noise in the throne room. Hela says that it seems Odin's solution to everything was to cover it up. She says that Thor never knew Odin at his best. They drowned hundreds of civilizations in blood and tears. Two troubled children really ready to face off right now. Thor says that his sister can't rule because she's just the worst. A wise king never seeks out war, but must always be ready for it. All the Asgardians are gathered on the Bifrost bridge, but Fenris is guarding the tower. They kind of turn around as Fenris is charging at them. And on the other side are the undead army and Scourge as well. Hela tosses Thor around until she slashes out his eye. And Fenris is really shaking off these bullets that are being pelted into it. So Bruce decides it's time to go Hulk again, even with the risk. He jumps out of the ship in a direct callback to him jumping out of the helicopter in the Incredible Hulk. And he falls to the bridge unchanged. But as Fenris continues his way towards the citizens, is dragged back by the Hulk. The leadership is swarmed by the army of undead, and the citizens are fighting as best they can, but things aren't looking good. Right before Heimdall's overrun, Korg shows up to save him, along with Loki. Your savior is here. Heimdall saw him coming as he, Loki, Korg, and Meek start to hold the line. Hela continuously stabs Thor and says, "I'm not a queen or a monster. I'm the goddess of death. What were you the god of again?" All the while, again, Thor is seeing flashes of Odin in Norway. Kind of subconsciously goes there to talk to Odin, because even when you had two eyes, you only saw half the picture. Thor says that Hela is too strong to beat without his hammer. Are you Thor, the god of hammers? The hammer was only meant to help him control his powers and focus it, but never where his strength came from. Hela's already taken Asgard, but Asgard isn't the place. Anywhere could be Asgard. Even this place, right here, where we are, could be Asgard. But Asgard's where their people stand.
Yeah, it's not a place, it's a people.
That's yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But that does not hold up in court. Thor summons a mass of lightning as he jumps towards the army in one of the sickest shots ever. Once again, Immigrant Song, it's back. Thor hits a fucking M. Bison Psycho Crusher for some reason. He just does it.
Thor's going fucking crazy in this sequence, and it's great.
And I love how the lightning like arcs off of everyone.
It's especially in the like far out shot where you're seeing him, Valkyrie, and Loki all fighting on the bridge. The fact that he's constantly got the lightning just coming through as he's punching, so good.
Yeah, he tears to the undead. Valkyrie joins in from the other side, and the leadership emits fireworks. and Hulk fights Fenris in the water. Scourge takes his time to throw down his axe and hide amongst the people as they board Korg's ship. Hela approaches Valk, Thor, and Loki as they try to figure out what to do, since even the biggest lightning blast in the history of lightning didn't work. Thor takes his followers' words and decides it's time to destroy Asgard with Ragnarok. Loki takes a ship and flies to the vault, while Thor and Valk hold her off. Loki grabs Surtur's crown, but stops to notice the Tesseract. He'd never take it, he just wanted to look at it. The army boards the ship, and Scourge reveals himself with destined Troy to take on them and protect the people of Asgard. He switched sides again. He does a good job until Hela throws a blade at him and he dies in a very funny way. Loki revives Surtur, and Thor tells Hela that she can have Asgard. Thor can't defeat her, but Surtur can. Thor and Valk don't like fulfilling this prophecy, but the people are safe, and Hela will be destroyed. Hulk comes back up from the water and immediately charges at Surtur. They tell him not to smash that, as he reluctantly grabs them and takes them to the ship. Hela emerges and she and Surtur fight it out, but he wins pretty convincingly. And then we have Korg going. The damage is not too bad. As long as the foundations are strong, we can rebuild this place. Right before Surtur inserts his sword into the ground and Asgard explodes. Thor questions what he's done, but Heimdall tells him that he saved them from extinction. Thor has a drink in his room with his new eye patch. Loki comes in and they have a heart-to-heart. Now, if you were here, I might actually give you a hug. But Loki is here, in the flesh. Thor walks to the bridge to take his place as the king of Asgard. They have to figure out where to go. Thor asks Meek, but Meek is dead. Korg accidentally stomped on him. Actually, never mind, he's alive. And they decide to go to Earth. Mid-credits. The Asgardians are making their way back to Earth, and Loki asks if it's really a good idea, or more like, is it a good idea for Loki to go back to Earth? And Thor just says, I feel like everything's gonna work out just fine. Right before they are greeted by Sanctuary 2, the ship of Thanos. In
Famous last words there, bud.
Yeah, really jinxed himself. Hard jinx. Post-credit scene, the Grandmaster and some of his ladies laying in the junkyard, and he says that he's proud of the people who for the revolution. He says he's a big part in it because he can't have a revolution without someone to overthrow. So it's a tie. And then that is the end of the movie.
That's it?
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this is a pretty top tier Marvel movie for its time. And even now it's still pretty good.
From what I can tell, I don't really talk about it a lot with other people, but I think of the Marvel stuff in the past, like, oh god, it would have been 6 years now, shit. Of a lot of the Marvel movies released in the past, like, 5-6 years, outside of the Avengers, I think this is one of the more highly regarded ones just in general.
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably why people don't talk about it as much, because it's just like, yeah, we all know it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's that, and, like, you know, after Love and Thunder, revisiting this is a little bit,
Yeah. All right, let's go into
language.
Let's go.
All right.
Always a fun time with language.
Here's the chart. It's a little small, actually.
It's fine. I can full screen on my end. Really?
Yep. This movie has 17 swear words, 4 hard swears, and 13 soft swears. Not a lot of swears in this movie.
Yeah, shocking.
At 1 minute and 59 seconds, Thor Odinson says,
Sasa, son of a bitch.
At 9 minutes and 52 seconds, Thor says,
What the hell is that?
At 11 minutes and 54 seconds, Loki as Odin says,
Oh shit.
That's one of the funniest ones in the movie, I think.
At 35:46, Thor says,
What the hell?
At 37:33, Thor says,
Just wait a damn minute. I'm not for sale.
At 39:27, Thor says.
We're not friends, and I don't give a shit about your games. I'm going back to Asgard.
At 39:31, the Grandmaster responds with.
Asgard.
At 40:42, we got a twofer here. The Grandmaster says.
Hey, Sparkles, here's the deal. If you want to get back to Asgard,
Asgard!
any contender who defeats my champion, their freedom they shall win.
And Thor responds at 40:53 with.
Fine, then point me in the direction of whoever's ass I have to kick.
At 42:39, Thor says.
Gonna fight him, win, and get the hell out of this place.
At 1 hour and 7 minutes and 37 seconds, Thor says.
I'm working on it, but I don't even know where the hell I am.
At 1:14:11, Thor says.
Damn you, Stark.
At 1:16:05, Bruce says.
What the hell happened?
At 1:35:49, Valkyrie says. He says shit. People who it's really laced in there with all the noises.
Yeah.
At 1:38:36, Bruce Banner says.
How the hell are we supposed to do that?
And finally, at 1:45:04, Valkyrie says.
What the hell are you talking about?
And that is it for the swears. As for the swear rankings,
Let's go.
in this movie, 5 people swore. Thor, Loki, Grandmaster, Bruce, and Valkyrie. Thor got 9 swears in this movie, which puts him at a total of 11. Loki got 1, which puts him at a total of 3. Grandmaster got 3, which puts him at a total of 3. Or, yeah. Bruce got 2, which puts him at a total of 5. And Valkyrie got 2, which puts him at a total of 2. Puts her at a total of 2. So not much has changed as far as the top 10 goes. But Thor has made his way into the list at number 9. So
Okay.
at number 8. Yeah, however that works. So at number 1 we have Tony Stark at 24. At number 2 we have Yondu at 16. We have the NPCs, which are characters who say curse words but don't have names, at 16 as well. Peter Quill is at 14. Rocket Raccoon is at 12. Steve Rogers, Nick Fury, and Thor are at 11. And rounding out the list is Clint Barton, Sam Wilson, and Peter Parker at 10. And that is it for language. Let us go into the connections. So, of course, we got the mentioning of fighting robots from Earth or on Earth in Age of Ultron. We got the reenactment of Dark World. We have the mentioning of Jane dumping Thor, which the last time we even heard about Jane was in Dark World. Actually, Age of Ultron. We got Doctor Strange from Doctor Strange. We have Tonsberg from Thor 1 and Captain America the First Avenger. We have the adopted callback from the Avengers. We have the Infinity Gauntlet from Thor 1. At least the fake one, that is. The Coffin of Ancient Winters, also from Thor 1. We have a picture of Laufey in the ceiling mural pictured in Thor 1. We have The Sun's Getting Real Low lullaby, which still now lullaby from Age of Ultron. Point Break from Avengers. The what I call the puny god move, which is when Hulk does the little smashy smash with one of those brothers.
Yeah, just
from
the
Avengers.
back and forth slam.
We have the Natasha Romanoff video from Age of Ultron, mention of Sokovia from Age of Ultron. The helicopter jump, which is from the Incredible Hulk. We have Sanctuary 2, which we last saw in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and then the Grandmaster himself from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. As the many connections, the board rolled in. I did it right. You'll see it in the edit. As for the broader connections, as the board kind of gets out of here, we have, of course, Age of Ultron, Dark World, Doctor Strange, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, the Avengers, the Incredible Hulk, and Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. And most of these are actually going to be just the purple connections, the mentions. A lot of them are not visual. But that's it. So, Shibuya, let's talk about our rankings.
Yeah,
Why
let's
don't
do
you
it.
hit me with it?
Okay, so, like I said at the top, it had been a while since I'd seen this movie, but I forgot around the time it launched just how many times I had seen this movie. I think I went to theaters to see it twice, once with my family and once with some friends, and then when it came out at home, I genuinely forget how many times I watched it. This was the era when I was like really super into rewatching a lot of the Marvel movies, especially in the lead up to Infinity War, but as far as the ones that I rewatch purely for enjoyment, this is in like the top 5, probably, easily. And as far as rewatch, it fucking holds up. So, I think, for what it's worth, and for equal but opposite reasons, I think Thor Ragnarok is going to be tied with Captain America Winter Soldier, but slightly edging it out at a 10 out of 10 spot. It is number 1 on my list right now. Purely because its recharacterization of Thor is exactly what he needed to stay entertaining, to stay engaging, to try and fix up the blemishes that Dark World left on his reputation in the MCU. And for better or for worse, it's what they stuck with going forward. And I think I wish they had kept the actual growth he has in this movie later on. We'll get to that when we get to Infinity War and Endgame, but I think his arc and his journey in this movie is basically perfect.
All right. As for me, you pretty much summed up what I was going to say. It's a goddamn good movie.
Yep.
For me, infinitely rewatchable. Extremely hella entertaining even. And yeah, but as far as ranking goes, I'm gonna put it at number 5. This is right above the first Avengers movie and below Iron Man 1. And I think it's a good spot as far as where I think I could rank it.
Yeah.
And Shawn, what do you think?
Thor Ragnarok is a 4.5 out of 5. I really love it. I've got it at number 3 on my ranking, below Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, above Captain America the Winter Soldier. I don't think it's a better movie than the Winter Soldier, but I do enjoy it more. It just kind of hits the more fun side of my heart that I really enjoy. So yeah, that's where I put it.
I'm sure he said something.
Yeah, I'm curious, genuinely.
But that is it for the podcast, I believe. Shibuya, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you?
All right. Well, if you're interested in any of the other stuff I do, because I run a couple other podcasts myself, Twitch, YouTube, or Twitter, just look up Shibuya Gato and you'll find me there.
Awesome. As for me, you can find me on Twitter and YouTube, and hopefully you watch the video version of this podcast. If not, the link is also in the description. But YouTube, Twitch, all that stuff, Tala Rims. And as for this podcast, you can follow MCUnhinged on Twitter at MCUnhinged. You can also find us on Anchor at anchor.fm/MCU-unhinged. You can also find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also if we're not in a place that you listen to, come over to the Anchor page, copy that RSS feed, plug it into your podcast app of choice, and we will pop up there regularly for you. All right, next time on MCUnhinged, we will be covering Black Panther.
Let's go!
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be hell of a time. I haven't rewatched Black Panther for a while, so.
I'm trying to think the last time I watched Black Panther.
I know the last time I watched it was before Chadwick passed, so that's gonna make it hit a lot harder, that's for sure.
But can't wait. Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan,
Yeah.
M'Baku. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
It's a stacked cast, so I'm excited to go back and
Angela
revisit
Bassett.
It. Yeah. Why am I forgetting her name? Oh my god. Fuck.
Letitia Wright.
No.
No, I don't even know if that's a real
The
person.
girl who plays his love interest, the spy.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o. Yeah, she's fucking great.
Yeah, she is. Denai Guerrera. I don't know if that's how you actually say her name.
I
Okoye.
think that's right, if I'm remembering how it's spelled.
Walking Dead lady.
Yeah.
She's great too.
I keep forgetting she was Michonne in Walking Dead. Fucking hell. Yeah, no. That I'm excited. Like, basically, the only bump left in the road, for me personally, is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Other than that, up until the end of the phase, I think we got bangers coming.
Yeah. So close to the end of this saga.
Yeah. It's kind of wild to think about it.
Gotta start thinking about how we're gonna do shows.
Oh boy, yep. Yeah, we do.
Alright, everyone. Well, we're out of here. See you next time.
Have a good one, everybody.
Went to go see Guardians 3. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Theater experience was pretty alright. It's decent. There was a guy, I sat next to this guy and his wife. And he was one of those guys who was like, had to explain what was happening. You know, he was like,
Yeah.
when you see Nebula can take this damage because she's a cyborg or whatever and stuff like that. Yeah, but luckily, eventually his wife just kind of got up and left for like the last third of the movie.
Well, that's good.
Like when I
Holy
ran
shit.
to the bathroom, she was just sitting outside.
That's awesome.
So good for me.
Yeah. Congratulations on that guy's wife just getting up and leaving the theater.
Best movie I've seen all year. Granted, I've only seen 3.
That's fair. I was gonna see it last weekend, but instead for Mother's Day, my mom was like, "Stay in. We're just gonna rent Dungeons and Dragons," and I was like, "All right, shit," and that was fun. We're planning
I
on
wanna
seeing
watch
Guardians
that.
3 probably this week at some point.
It's ranked just slightly above John Wick 4,
Fair.
the fourth of the Wickman. Other than that, you know, Breath of the Wild. I'm a cheating guy. I like to cheat. That's been fun.
Like original Breath or Tears?
No, sorry, Tears of the Kingdom. Always.
Dude, I've made that mistake more often than you would believe. I get it. I fully get it. Same. Tears has been the worst thing to happen to my productivity, in years. So,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Marvel's gonna take a hit soon because of the writers. That's gonna be fun. Let's see how that goes. But also, obviously, pay the writers, please. Pay them more. All right. I think my voice is warmed up. I've drunk enough carbonated water.
Nice.